All right, y'all. It's Tuesday. A little bit earlier than normal, but that's okay, folks. That's okay. I got stuff to do. Dusty got stuff to do. We're not going to forget about you. Before we get started, let's do this right here, y'all. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark and concerts in the park. You're live with your boy Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. We do it like this most of the time, but today we're a little bit early, but we still got a good show. Dusty, are you ready? All right, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Party started. What'd it be like, Doc?
Man, can't complain. Lonzo, how'd that show go last Saturday?
Man, it was off the chain.
Talk to us, man. Remind everybody who performed.
We had Miss Chalet, we had Howard Hewitt, and more Standard Time.
Ooh,
they brought the
lineup, man.
They brought the heat. I ain't gonna say nothing, but Howard Hewitt and Morris Day brought the heat. They brought the house down. Both of them did. And me and my son was debating yesterday. I always take it to live shows. He's a drummer, so I try to let him experience live shows, at least from the audience, with nothing else. And we were trying to figure out who got the tightest live show, More Standard Time or Zapp. Dude, that is a hard call.
We talking now or during their prime?
Either one, man. That's a hard call, Doc. I've played with both of them. Actually, as World Class Record Crew, we opened for both acts. I did not like going in front. Or I actually had to go behind them one time. Man, I was miserable. That's one of them shows you do not want to do. I did not want to go behind Roger and Zapp. I'm talking about when Roger was alive. So Roger was a hell of a front man for Zapp. And Morris, the whole band is tight. And the same thing goes for Zapp. They do all kind of flips and flops and costume changes. It's really hard to call that one right there for me. I don't know about nobody else, but for me, that's a hard call. What you think?
Damn. I've never seen either of them. When it comes to music-wise, big Zapp fan. Like since I was a kid, that was one of the first. Even before hip hop, I liked Zapp and Roger. So if I had to pick one just based off music, I'm going Zapp. I've never had the opportunity to see either of them in concert, though.
Man, I saw Zapp at the YouTube Theater last year, and these guys are older than I am, man. Well, that's just older than me, and them dudes just still don't play. They don't leave nothing on the stage. When you get through it, when they get through, ain't nothing left, dude. Ain't nothing left. I don't know if I can do it. Ain't nothing left, but nonetheless, it's a great show.
Let's talk about Zapp before we jump into our topics for the night, because that's a very interesting group. They were ahead of their time in a lot of ways. They were using instruments and things for their voice that, were kind of unheard of at that time or weren't as popular, meaning I think it was the vocoder or the voice. You talk to me about that, Lonzo. Talk to us about Zapp, them using the whole voice thing and how that came, how people took that.
They had a voice box. It was a voice box is different from a talk box. A talk box is different from a vocoder. A talk box actually is a hose that goes in your mouth. It goes into a little effect unit that's right next to you, and you have to have a keyboard or a guitar to make it to generate the tone, but it distorts the tone and makes it mechanical or real mechanical for the most part. And a vocoder looks like an EQ, and you plug a microphone directly into it, and it takes over the whole vocal tone of the voice. And depending on how the EQ is set, you can get different types of sounds, R2D2, anything. Anything. And we chose this robotic sound for Juice, and it was really it
Appreciate you, Stem.
It worked for us. That was our thing. So yes.
Appreciate you, STEM Radio, for that $10.
Much love, Doc.
Yeah, he has a question. We're gonna save that for later. That'll be the next question, actually, since he donated. But do you know if there was anyone who used the talk box before Zapp and Roger did?
If they did, they didn't use it the same way he did. Oh yeah. On Foxy Get Off. Listen to Foxy Get Off. In the background, they don't really use it a whole lot. You hear them pop, 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 pop. They hear it like it was like it's a straight sound effect. It wasn't really a vocal, but you can tell that's what it was. Other than that,
but nobody perfected it like Zapp did.
Nobody I can recall. Nobody used it as a main vocal instrument at all. I mean, he perfected the keyboard, playing with the keyboard. It was been around for a while, but that's the only person I've ever seen that actually used it on the lead of a song. It may have been some backgrounds or some special effects, but he was the first one I could think of. Now, I may have been more. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But yeah, it was in the he was the first one to use it in the lead situation. On multiple songs on top of that.
Almost every song, if not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That became his signature thing there. So can't get mad about that one, Doc.
Yeah. Now, before we jump into our topics, since our boy Stem Radio got us $10, there's a topic that he wanted to discuss, and it's actually something that I talked about on my channel. And shout out to Stem. Thank you for checking out the video that I posted. But this week, Lonzo, a 15-year-old white rapper from Utah went viral. And I'm gonna give you a few things about him. So he's a blood. He's repping the B team from Utah, Ogden, Utah. He went on No Jumper, Adam 22's platform recently, and he said a lot of things that were considered derogatory towards the opposition. You know, the Southsiders, the Sureños, the Norteños up north, and he was just saying a lot of stuff that got people interested. So, you know, he went viral. Well, he also went viral after doing Adam 22's podcast. Lonzo, he went viral for getting hit up by some Norteños. I guess he was set up and he ended up going to someone's house. And I wish I had the audio queued up, but he's basically pleading for his life after just talking the biggest shit. And his music is also gang related. Lonzo, little white, chubby looking, funny looking 15-year-old kid from Utah. So that happened. And then he also got hit up at a liquor store where some Southsiders, some Latino homies hit him up and said, you know, why you talking shit? Get off the internet, you effing lame. And each time this kid has gone viral for those reasons, I mean, his eyes, he looked like he just saw a ghost whenever these people walk up on him. But meanwhile, he was just on No Jumper talking trash. And of course, it's going more viral because he's 15-year-old white kid. But, you know, when you hear a story like that, Lonzo, what are your thoughts?
Fucking. You stupid. He think they out here playing. He think he didn't watch too many Tekashi 69 videos. He watched too many Island Boy videos. He watched too many videos thinking he can just pull it off and get away with it. That's not how it goes, man. That's not how it goes. And most of the people, a lot of the people, not all, a lot of the people that's trying to get a quick reputation, they can say some pretty foul things. And they unfortunately, in the gang and the rap game, dissing somebody is how you get attention real fast. But all attention ain't a good attention. And he's 15 years old. You might not see 16 the way you're going. I've seen a couple of different cats play with the wrong people. It was a Latino dude in Mexico dissing the cartel. They found his ass in pieces with holes in him. Is there some things you don't do, man? And you know, you 15 years old, you in your room, you probably think you're gonna get away with it. They're not gonna find you. Psych, they caught your ass. Now, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I've seen it happen so many times. That's what's one thing about the internet that I don't like. It has no validation system, and they will give you the platform for the views, for the likes, for the money, and let you talk yourself into a casket and pretty much give you thoughts and prayers after they kill your ass. Nobody cares. And that's dude, we in a real sad part in society right now where money rules everything. That kid is 15 years old. There needs to be some type of legislation to keep him off the internet talking gang shit at 15. Something. You can't do that. If you can't do that. Period. Not just a 15-year-old, but a period. You can't use the internet to antagonize people, especially if you know your life is going to be in danger. Yeah, it sounds cool, it sounds fly until they catch your ass at the liquor store. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan till you get hit in the mouth. You get tired of doing this, man. You know, you get tired of trying to save people from themselves. And that's just a real byproduct of what we're dealing with today. You can tell somebody till they blue in the face, hey man, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Once they catch your ass at the liquor store at that party you got set up, now you realize maybe I should have did that. Now you crying. The real you show up now. The real you. All them tattoos don't mean nothing. All that hype don't mean nothing. It ain't nobody but you and the folks you was dissing. Now what you gonna do? Your mama can't save you. Your daddy can't save you. You probably don't have no real hood friends.
That's the best part. During one of those conversations, he yells out, "Let me call my mom, man. Let me call my mom."
See? You know what I'm saying? See, you out here playing. Everybody ain't playing, man. Folks ain't playing out here, dude. Why would you do that? That's why I said, fuck them, man. Dude, I know you're young. I know you stupid, but you don't believe that my daddy would say fat meat is greasy and the oven is hot till you get your ass burnt. Hopefully he didn't get killed. He didn't get pew, did he?
Thankfully, no, and hopefully he still has time to turn himself around, which I hope he does.
That's a whole nother song right there. I thought I was a gangster till I got caught. I thought I was a gangster till they ran up on my ass. I'm going back to school and take these tattoos off my face. Yeah, that's a whole nother song. And that right there. Now, if he was smart, that's what he would do. That's what he would do. You take that experience that you just did. You trying to be a badass. You all over on jumper, no jumper, talking on that head, and you got caught crying for your mama. All that went out the window. All that went out the window. Same thing with 69, Tekashi 69. All that. As long as you got them big old bodyguards, you go all over hood. All up, just everybody kissing, genuflecting at Nipsey Hussle's his memorial. But you don't do that shit. You don't do that shit without the bodyguards. You're not doing that without the bodyguards. The bodyguards are off camera. You think you out there by yourself? No. The bodyguards are off camera. And that's another one. You ain't heard nothing from him since the IRS ran up on his ass. All that head he was talking. I'm a guy like me, I can take off for 2 years. Like, no, you can't. You better go back to McDonald's and jump your ass back on fries. Anyway.
Facts. Hey, tell us about that question. You know, this is on the same topic. We're going to stick to this a little bit because it's a great subject and I want to dig a little bit deeper. But tell us about that question you asked in that social media class that you took about how to make it on YouTube.
Before I started my YouTube channel, I took a social media class on YouTube, and I asked the instructor, was there any way to have a successful YouTube channel and maintain your dignity? He said, probably not. Okay. Now, since then, we've seen some people do some things with different types of platforms, cooking, exercise, diet, stuff like that. Those platforms, but usually, they're very conventional, and they pretty much have a format to rock with. A lot of the other platforms, you pretty much got to sell your soul for the most part, dude. You got to go do something stupid like homeboy right here to get on no jumper, and that put your life in danger, in jeopardy, so you can go viral and call your mama on YouTube, because now the real you just showed back up. And dude, I mean, I explained, and that's part of why my channel hasn't done the numbers that it should do, because I'm too old to sell out. I ain't sold out all this time. When I'm gonna start now, it ain't that serious, and I ain't trying to be next to Diddy.
Yeah, it's easy to go viral. Going viral is underrated, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, that's great advice right there. You know, a lot of people, Lonzo, are giving Adam 22 from No Jumper. They're giving him shit, you know, including me. I've given him shit in the past for stuff he's done on his show. How responsible do you think the content creator is? And do you think, you mentioned earlier legislation and things like that, do you think one day that these content creators are going to be held liable? This is a 15-year-old kid we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, when you see people on podcasts smoking weed and they under 21, they may let them drink. They let them do all kinds of things that they shouldn't be doing. But nobody regulates the internet right now, man. It's not really regulated. The only time it's regulated when you say certain things. We all know what that is. You can't say certain words. You can't talk about certain people, which is a form of censorship in itself. But to allow a 15-year-old person to put themselves in jeopardy just for you can go viral. Now if they'd killed him, his interview would have went through the roof. His interview, but just the fact that he's crying like a bitch is gonna go through the roof too. Okay, but for someone else, that may be motivation. Oh man, look at that fool! I would have did all that. I'd have stood my ground. Yeah, right. And some other 15-year-old think he's tougher than him. He's gonna find himself in the same situation, crying for mama, daddy, or somebody can get these fools up off my ass. But by that time, it just may be too late.
You know, one part of the interview that no one focused on, but I personally did a whole video on this myself because no one else was focusing on it. It was about a 3-second conversation, but somehow, so keep in mind, Lonzo, there's, I believe, 3 adults and then this one kid on this side, or this 15-year-old on the other side. They're all having conversation. And during the conversation, anyone could go check this video out now to see what see what I'm talking about. But in this conversation, somehow I'm going to have, I guess I could use this word on YouTube. Cock rings came up.
Okay.
We all know anyone who doesn't know what a cock ring is. Now I'm not going to say it as much, but a cock ring is something you put on your manhood, apparently, to, I don't know, enhance the feeling. I've never done it, so I don't know what it does, apparently, but you put it on, it's a thing you put on your manhood down there, and you use it while you see YouTube, you can't say certain shit. So anyway, they were talking about cock rings, and I thought that was very interesting that they're discussing this in front of a 15-year-old boy. Now, my thoughts, Lonzo, is if this were a 15-year-old girl,
everybody going to jail.
Talk to me.
Everybody going to jail. It's just amazing, man, that the double standards that we have in this society is so prevalent and nobody really trips on it. If that was a girl, everybody going to jail. And again, it's just, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's because we male-dominated society. I don't know for sure, but what I do know, if that was a girl, there'll be some lawsuits filed. They would call it grooming now. It would be considered grooming, all right, and it would change the whole dynamic of that show. And they might be podcasting from cell block 7 or what, some shit. I don't know, because there's certain things they're not gonna let you do. And that ring is it's used to keep the blood inside the member. It like chokes it off, so that once the blood goes in, they lock it in, and you won't go down until they pull that ring off.
Now they got Viagra for things like that, right? Basically.
Actually, truthfully, it might not, but nonetheless, it's let me see here. What I'm thinking. Oh, a lot of male dancers use something similar to that, because with a lot of guys ask me how I know. I ran a metal exotic show. A club. I know how they do things. They work themselves up to a frenzy, choke it off, and now it's heavier when they go to perform. Okay, it's heavier when they go to perform. It looks a lot bigger. I walked in a couple of guys, man, dude, what are you doing? I'm getting ready for my show. Hey, okay, cool. That's how you get paid. But dude, I do what, man? Hey, man, man, he bought your ring. Huh? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Doc, it's like that. You talking to
Okay, okay.
the wrong
Yeah.
person about the right shit.
You know, you mentioned Island Boys earlier, and I'm curious if you saw Charleston White whoop up on one of those Island Boys last Sunday.
His tattooed ass. I
I
sure.
was so happy about that. For anyone who doesn't know, real quick, they've been having a beef online. Two big personalities, online personalities, Charleston White and one of the Island Boys. Island Boys probably in his early 20s, I would guess, 20, 21, 22. Charleston White is my age, 47, 48. And it was a 3-round exhibition. And Charleston White ended up knocking dude down and basically making the 20-year-old look like an idiot. And I can't even lie, I was like, this 20-year-old's gonna mop him up. But then I thought, you know, it's probably on all kind of dope. He probably smoked like a weed right before the show. Like he's probably meaning the white kid. So yeah, Charleston White ended up, and I felt good as an old man seeing him whoop up on this 20-something-year-old man. But talk to me when you saw that, Lonzo.
You know, they both look like two puppets. I was looking for the string. They got two marionettes. They both skinny as hell. And but Charleston is always under the threat of ass whipping. Okay, he's taking classes. He's taking. I watch him punch. He is taking some lessons on how to keep somebody off his ass. All right. I just saw a video of him the other day get pulled over by the police someplace. He got mace in his pocket. He has a knife. He has all type of utensils to keep folks off his ass. And as much stuff as he talks, he can't just be a super buster. You got to be able to at least look like he know how to fight. And he, you know, whatever lessons he took, he used him on homeboy and put him on his butt a couple of times. Homeboy was going for the youth. He was going for the youth vibe. He thought he was going to whoop him, you know, beat him up because he's younger than him. Yeah, it's a bunch of old badass old men out there. You ever watch Badass? Okay, have you ever watched Badass with my man what's the Latino dude? Come on, man, help me out.
Dude, the one you got the book on, right? Damn, I'm having a brain fart. Wow, I can't believe that. Did prison time, all that shit.
Yeah, Danny Trejo, and what's his name? Played with Mel Gibson, the black dude, Danny Glover. These two old dudes that be putting hands on fools. You know, they both military. I mean, you'd be surprised, man, at what these old dudes know. I mean, everybody ain't out of shape. Just because you old don't mean you out of shape. And most of the time, we gonna cheat. I'm not gonna be trying to wrestle with nobody. I'm not trying to wrestle with you, man. Wrestling is not in my forte. I'm trying to disable you and get home. I want to disable you and leave the scene as soon as possible. We're not going to be out here boxing. We're not going to be out here wrestling. Ain't no WWF. We're not doing all that, okay? Nope. First of all, I'm not going to put myself in a position to be in a physical confrontation, hopefully. But if one happens, I'm going for the juggler. I'm not going to sit there and try to negotiate. Don't do that. No, it makes no sense.
Facts, dude. Yeah. We gotta get back home. Thankfully, my last fight was in 2011. So, and I've never been an aggressor, but at that point, I just had to fight, and that's a good run. 14 years is a good run, and hopefully that's my last fight I ever have to be in. I don't like fighting. I don't want to fight. None of that shit. You know what I mean? But when is the last time you got into a physical fight?
I might have been 50, 51, 52, dude.
I still probably got one more in me, is what you're saying.
I wasn't trying to fight, dude, but I was like, hey, man, what you doing? He came at me, and I had to give him a two-piece. You know, had to give him a two-piece. And, you know, oh, man, why you got – well, you should have did what you did. You up here playing. I don't play like that. I don't play like that. I'm too old to be playing like that, man. So he was talking shit, and I thought he was coming at me. And pop, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. You knocked out. You knocked down. Man, that's fucked up. No, the way I don't play like that. I'm too old for that shit. Anyway, we shook hands. He was holding his eye. That's for damn sure.
All right. When was the first fight you ever had that you can remember?
I can't remember the first fight because I got picked on a lot when I was in school. So I was always the target of a bully. But I remember the first fight I won. I was at St. Albert's over in Compton. I've been getting picked on forever. In Catholic school, they teach you turn the other cheek and be nice, and you know. And I came home, my old man, he says, I'm paying $35 a month for you to get your ass whooped. This is getting this. I was going home almost every other day with ass whooping, crying, somebody. Dude, I was a little buster. I was a buster. I wasn't big. I was a small kid. I was skinny. And my old man took me behind the house. He said, next time somebody pick on you, do this, do this, do this. And if they give you the problem, none give you the problem, call me. And sure enough, somebody picked on my ass, and I lit into their asses. Man, nobody could believe that I want to fight. Nobody at St. Albert's believed that my nickname back then was Stick, that Stick want to fight. And I beat up a dude, and his brother wanted to jump on me because I beat his brother up. I whooped his brother the same method my daddy gave me, kick him in the nuts, hit him in the nose, he can't see, and still start whooping on his ass. Okay? Kick him in the nuts, kick him in the nose, kick him in the nuts, hit him in the nose, and don't wait for him. You passed the first blow. That was some bullshit. You know, back in the day, we did that. We crossed the line. Don't cross the line in the sand. Knock the chip off your shoulder. My man said, "Fuck all that." If it look like it's gonna go down, start it. Start it. The first one with the blow, you got the advantage. You have the advantage. So while he talking, you just start whooping on his ass. And that's what I did. I had 3 fights in 2 days. By the third day, I was the king of the school, man. I never tried to be the king of the school. I was the king of the school. It must have been like the 5th grade. I'm like, what? And dude, king of the school came with some privilege. King of the school came with some benefits. And I still was not a bully. I never did, really take advantage of that situation. But because I was the king of the school for that brief period in time, I kept getting picked on. And that's what got me kicked out of school. So it had to be more like the 6th grade then, 6th or 7th grade. Because because I got kicked. I went to Vanguard in the second half of the first half, 7th half of the 8th grade. Went to 7th grade, all the 8th and all the 9th. So yeah, I went to Vanguard for 2 years. So I got kicked out in the 6th or 7th grade at St. Albert's. And because I was the king of the school, nobody could believe it. And I kept getting into fights. I must have got in about 9 or 10 fights over a 3-week period, dude. No bullshit. And the nuns just got tired. They thought I'd gone crazy. They thought he's fighting every day. I'm like, I ain't fighting. I'm keeping him off my ass. I'm just keeping him off my appetite. My daddy told me, no bullshit. Either you whoop his ass or I whoop in yours. Who you think I'm gonna take out? Oh, who you think I'm gonna put? I'm not going against my daddy. I'm not going against my daddy. And that was the rule. And I was good. I was good on St. Albert's. And I think I told y'all the story about me and my dad. I got into a fight on my block. This is from going to summer of the 9th grade, 8th grade, summer of 8th grade. I was going to the 9th grade and got into a fight on my block. Now I'm still, even them St. Albert's fights, I was cool, but I still didn't want to fight. We playing football, everything cool. The dudes around the corner on Jarvis, they always wanted to pick on us. And just like every other game we ever had, a fight broke out. Well, somebody hit me so hard, dude. I saw all the little birds you see around Bugs Bunny and everybody else. I saw all of them able to I'm finna go out. He knocked the shit out of my ass. And I'm scared. So I got just enough balance to stagger and get my ass to the pad. When I got to the pad, we had a little small fence over my side of my house. It was like 3 or 4 feet. I hurdled that like Carl Lewis. Homeboy chasing me, he hurdled it too. I'm on the step at the house, summertime, door wide open. I run into the house, homeboy run into the house. He in the living room right behind me. He in the living room. My daddy in the kitchen doing something. He come up, what the hell going on? And anyway, he said, what's going on? I said, when we got into a hassle, he chased me home. You got to go outside and fight him. Huh? Went outside. He said, I'm going to let him hurt you, but you can't keep running. Dude, me and homeboy got in the front. I'm going to keep it 100. I did not win the fight per se, but I got enough confidence in me where I wasn't scared no more. He didn't hurt me. He couldn't hurt me. And I lived into his ass pretty good too. But again, he got more experience. And I ain't gonna say I whooped his ass, but I did good. And that whole year, nobody really messed with me in Vanguard. Senior Ditch Day, Vanguard, we at the beach, Playa del Rey, hot as hell. We done got hold to some Boone's Farm wine. I'm sitting there, I got a wine headache. The sun is hot. Ain't no shade nowhere. One of my girls said, you could use my head. You could sit on the blanket with me. She let me put her head in her lap. And homeboy, all of a sudden, man, just like an Elvis Presley movie, somebody kicked sand in my face. Man, fuck, what was that? And I popped up, and it was that fool. Man, I jumped in. I beat the shit out of that dude. I beat the shit out of him. They pulled me off of his ass. I'm in 9th grade now. I'm a little bit bigger. And I ain't scared. We got to fighting. Man, that was the biggest fight of that. We was the only fight that day. I tore into his, because by this time I was pissed. That alcohol had me going, and I just, oh no, dude, not today. I tore into his ass. I beat him up. That day I whooped his ass, and I got to Centennial. I had a reputation. There
it is, man. Shout out to Rad 7. Good looking out on that donation. And we're about halfway through the show. Looks like our regulars are starting to trickle in. We started a little early today. We have a few things we have to handle tonight, so we pushed the show back to 5:30. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button before you get too comfortable. And if this is your first time joining the channel, you like what you hear, you want to hear more, please hit that subscribe button. I am Dusty Vision. This is Alonzo Williams, the godfather of West Coast hip hop. Now, Alonzo, a few things I want to discuss tonight. And if anyone has any questions, shoot them to the chat, and I'll copy and paste everything. And, you know, anyone who wants to throw us a few dollars, I will put you at the top of the list. So appreciate you. Rad 7 says, peace, good brothers. Peace to you, man. So something I want to talk about tonight, Alonzo, just for a few seconds, and then we'll move on to something else. But Ice Cube hit an era in the early 90s when he went, I guess for lack of better words, pro-black. And he turned Muslim. He talked about how he didn't eat swine in one of his biggest songs ever. A lot of his content even changed around that time. And it was one of my favorite Cube eras. 92, the Predator album with the song Wicked, and Today Was a Good Day. But it only lasted a short period of time. But did you ever see that side in a young Ice Cube? And what did you think when you turned on the TV one day and Cube cut his Jerry curl and he's now rocking a natural with the pick, screaming Black Power, talking about not eating swine?
I thought he got the influence primarily from Chuck D when he went down there with the Bomb Squad and made his albums. When he was here with N.W.A, that's when he was doing the Jerry curl thing. And like I said, when he left N.W.A, he went back east to work with the Bomb Squad, I think it was. He was heavily influenced by Chuck D. Chuck D had the brothers in the back. What were they called? The F1s? What?
Not FOIs. FOI?
The FOIs were Muslim, but Chuck D had some brothers with him that looked like him, but they called him something else. Okay, they called him something else. He had a brother. All while Chuck D be marching, homeboy be back in the back stepping, almost doing those military steps. But anyway, I didn't see that part of him when he was around. He was only like 16, 17 when he was around here, so he hadn't matured into that level. Plus, once he got into the
there you go, the S1, the SW1s.
SW1s. Okay, thank you. After he got free of N.W.A, I think that's when he got more influenced by the Muslims. You know, that's my opinion. I know he considered himself a one percenter. I didn't realize he was a full-blown Muslim, but I do know that his manager, Brother Ron, is a Muslim. So he definitely made some connections. And why he made those connections, I can't speak on it, but I know he ain't been in no trouble since then. Think about that, man. Think about that. The whole Ice Cube phenomenon. Ice Cube had a couple run-ins early in his career. I think him and my boy, Mr. Green Thumb got into it. Cypress Hill had an issue. There was an issue with the boys out of Pomona, 187, but again, this was like the super wild days of hip hop too, where hip hop was wild. Then he had an issue with Cam. I'm mistaken. Cam had an issue with him. So, and Cam was a brother from the Muslim as well. So when you have all this going on, and you probably most talented cat out of all that, somebody start talking to you, to your talents, you have a tendency to listen a little bit more. And I think that's where this whole Muslim situation came in. I'm not a Muslim. I don't eat pork though. I don't eat pork. I've eaten pork. I've gotten that headache. He's talking about. So if you don't eat it, sometimes when you try it. If I eat some pork right now, if you tell me ain't no pork in something and you slide it in there, my body will tell me it is. My body will. Everybody gonna do that. If you used to it, it ain't gonna bother you. But for me, I would get them little, especially if I ate some ham. Oh my God, I get that little tingy headache, dude. That drive me nuts. When I stopped doing it, that left me alone. So it's just certain things that and then my dad, he died from a stroke, and his doctor told him stop smoking, stop drinking, and stop eating pork. So I just followed what his doctors told him to do and try to keep myself in a better situation.
BG Knockout has an interview out right now, and he said a couple interesting things that I would like your thoughts on. He said in a recent interview that although him and Eazy were beefing with Death Row and Dr. Dre when they were going at it, he said that he told Eazy on several occasions that Eazy was, quote, stupid for letting Dre go. What are your thoughts when you hear that comment?
Well, when you understand how the record industry works, and if you ever think about this from all bands, not just hip hop, look at all the bands you ever saw. Start off 5, 6, 7 cats, horn sections, rhythm section, backup singers, lead singers, everybody. And at some point in time, all the dead weight just falls off. You got 2 or 3 cats, or maybe one guy. You saw it happen with Beyonce. She started off with Destiny's Child. She's a star by herself. You saw it happen with Michael Jackson. He started off with Jackson 5. Now he's a star by himself. A lot of guys tried it. Some of them wasn't successful. You got guys like the Beatles, Paul McCartney started off with the Beatles, ended up by itself. A lot of times, because you're the lead singer, you tend to get all the attention. And I think that's what happened with the Ruthless thing. But because it was hip hop, and hip hop is woven a little bit differently. Dre was a major part of the Ruthless sound, the Ruthless empire, period. Maybe Jerry thought that Eric was, since he was the leader, it was all about him, and it wasn't. That spotlight was shared by 3 people: Eazy out front, Cube writing lyrics, and Dre's doing beats. Okay, now they still had some success, but look at the success of those guys without him. You follow me? Dre and Cube went on to do phenomenal things, and Eazy still did okay. Bone, he wasn't the same person. Bone became the focus of the Ruthless camp, and you didn't have that production machine no more. You still had some good music came out of there, but you didn't have the production team no more. You know, Yella's album he did to tribute to Eazy was a good album, but you didn't hear about it. Rain had another good album. You didn't hear about it. It was a whole process. Dre's production, Cube's work lyrics, and bars, along with Eazy's persona and Jerry's organization skills, combined with a marketing team that kept every Ruthless release on a bus bench in South Central LA. When they dropped their Ruthless products, it looked like a movie. Between the billboards, between the bus ads, they was gonna drop $500,000 the day of release, just on curiosity. They stopped doing that, and some of that was behind. I think that was when Jerry left, and then when Dre left. Because again, Dre was the machine. He was the one that had the machine. Nobody else had his experience behind the mixing board and in the studio. Yella should have, but he didn't. Yella had more skills. Dre had a lot more talent. There's a difference between skill and talent.
Can you break that down? What you mean by that?
Skills are something that you can learn. You can go to school. You can go to a trade school and learn the skill. You learn how to be a carpenter. You can learn how to be a welder. You can learn how to be an auto mechanic. That's a skill. A talent is something that you were born with. Plus, you add the mechanics of the skill. See, when you have a talent, you understand the mechanic. You understand the mechanics of a certain situation, but you also have the creativity to think outside the box. And you might not use the mechanics in a conventional way to create something totally different than what everybody else is doing. Where Yella was a drummer. He was a drummer. He played physical drums. Dre couldn't do that, to my knowledge. But Yella didn't have that creativity to to hear things in advance and duplicate it. He could do what you tell him to do, but he had the ability to hear something before it was done. You have to hear it in your head first. You have to see it with your eyes. You have to see it inside your head, hear it inside your head. Then you have to translate it to somebody or translate it yourself to what you want to do. That's the difference between those situations. A talent is a gift. Talent is a gift. A skill is something that you can learn.
I love where this conversation is going. You know, I always akin it to magic, Lonzo, but how would you explain to someone the process of writing a song and creating a song that ends up just being a hit? You know, from the beginning of when you hear the beat in your own head, like you just talked about earlier. How do you explain that to someone because a lot of people are amazed when they see someone freestyle, for instance, or how did you do that beat? Oh my God. Like, how do you explain to someone who's not a creative how all that comes about?
You can't. You can't. It's hard to because
that's why I say magic, dog. That's the only word that I can think of.
When you're trying to explain something to somebody that's not a creative, and most people in the record industry, especially ones that's making the deals, are not creatives. They're either lawyers or executives, and they're looking for somebody to give you what somebody else already got, only on their label and with a little twist to it, so they won't get sued or catch any real flack for biting off of somebody. So it's real difficult to explain to somebody how a song like Turn Off the Lights, I knew it was going to be a hit because I felt it. I already had a hit with Lovers. I just needed something a little bit more up to date and a little tighter. The production on Turn Off the Lights was a lot tighter than it was on Lovers. Plus, we had more of a universal appeal song. Being lovers and friends is one thing, but for a woman, if I'm a hell of a woman, I wrote that song for women. It was an empowerment song for women. And when you start empowering women, oh, dude, that's a skill. You have to understand that is a skill and a talent. As you start to do different things in life, you start realizing certain people have certain groups have certain dog whistles that you can work with. Okay, women like to be empowered. That's why Mary J. Blige is the person she is. That's why Beyonce is who she is. That is a marketing talent that somebody grabbed. I'll say, we're going to take this. We're going to make these women the poster women. Mary J. Blige, I call her the poster child for broken-hearted women. Okay, she's the queen of broken-hearted women. She is a whine and cry type of artist. She crying and whining. Somebody broke her heart, and a bunch of broken-hearted women. And Mary J. Blige is a songstress. Okay, Beyonce is empowerment. All the single ladies. That's her thing. So when you're dealing with different talents and different skills, it's a combination of both. And sometimes you have to have both of them come together, and the skill enhances the talent. You got to have the skill to make the talent work, and you got to have the talent to make the skill be better. You follow me? Both of them work hand in hand. One person is a mechanic, the other person is a visionary. That's what I'm trying to say. Once you get involved with a visionary, then if a visionary get the right mechanics around them, they can make magic. The visionary might not be the mechanic. Perfect example. Michael Jackson and Prince. Michael had great mechanics, highly skilled, talented too, but he didn't have the same mechanics that Prince had. Prince was skilled in the studio, and he was able to apply his talent to his skills and make him a strong-ass artist. Well, Mike could sing, he could dance, but he had to have a production team to make his visions come true. Prince didn't need a production team to make his visions come true. He can go in the studio by himself with a bunch of instruments and come out with a couple of hours with a song. Mike couldn't do that. Mike had to have a team. Mike had a vision, but he had to have some skilled musicians and some talented musicians to make his visions come true. Just a basic difference. People always argue, who was a better artist, Michael or Prince? Prince did everything Mike did. Prince did everything and Mike did, and what Quincy Jones did, and he did it for other people. Mike didn't do that for nobody. Mike was good for Mike. He never had no spinoff artists per se. I mean, Usher was on his label, but Mikey never wrote for nobody. People wrote for Mike. Prince wrote for everybody, and Prince, and The Time, and Vanity Six, and Sheila E., and Sheena Easton. So he had a whole lot of talent to disperse around people. Mike was, when he left Quincy, he didn't do 40 million no more. Prince never did 40 million on one album, but he did a bunch of 5s and 10s. He did a whole bunch of 5s and 10s. Mike had one, did what, 45, 50 million? That's cool, but Prince did a whole bunch of them. They did a lot of millions too. And not only for him, for other people. So his game was a little bit different. No disrespect to either one of them. Trust me. But, and that's what it goes. That's what happens when you rocking with a situation like with going back to Ruthless for a minute. Eazy had a good run, but it was nowhere near as powerful as it was when him, Dre, and Cube was together. BG Knockout, they did a great job, but it still wasn't the same. It didn't have that same, the same nuts. Meanwhile, Dre took his talent over to Death Row and created a powerhouse with Tupac, Snoop Dogg. Come on, in his own shit. So, that right there was a hell of a situation within itself. Ruthless fell off after Dre left, except for Bone Thugs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and that was in response to Uncle G's question, I'm assuming. Do you think Eazy could have replaced Dre and Cube to keep N.W.A. going? Some would say he tried with BG Knockout and Dre Stud. They were good, but it just, like you said, didn't have that same oomph to it, right?
You had to have, first of all, you ain't, and Cube don't have a whole lot of people you compare him to. You got Cube. Ain't nobody you can compare to Dre. You got some bad boys out there, but he got a different sound than everybody. His sound became the sound of West Coast hip hop. A lot of bad boys out there. Jermaine Dupri, bad boy. Missy Elliott, bad girl. But they didn't have that same. It was a little bit different ingredients that made his thing stand out more. I mean, you got Snoop, Tupac, and the Chronic on the same label, plus the soundtrack from Above the Rim. Come on, man. It's a whole lot of shit right there. That shit was banging. That shit still bang today. Okay. It still bangs today.
That Above the Rim soundtrack stays in constant rotation to this day, dude.
Come on.
I know a place where we can go outside and have some fun. I mean, dude, that whole album is crazy.
Yeah. So, dude, that's the difference, man. That's the difference.
Yeah. So, Stim Radio says, I actually saw something recently that Michael Jackson and Prince hated each other. And yes, allegedly that's true. And I'm going to encourage everyone to check out this documentary that they did, a great documentary on the making of We Are the World, the We Are the World song. We Are the World, where they just took a bunch of different artists and put them in one room and they recorded this song overnight. But Prince wasn't on that song because he allegedly didn't want to record in the same room as Michael that night.
Prince was his own man, dude. You know, Prince was his own man. It was a good gesture, but Prince was his own man, and Prince, he could be a bit of an a-hole. He a Gemini, tell him, hey, I ain't messing with y'all. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, when I'm good, right? I think that is a Gemini true. When I'm good, I'm good. Like, it's gonna take a lot to bring me back from not being good.
Yeah, I'm good. No problem.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about that, Lonzo, because I was, 6 years old. So I remember it from a 6-year-old's point of view. And obviously in hindsight, I understand how big of a song it was and how important it was and how cool of a story it was that the Grammys were in Los Angeles in 1984. And someone got the bright idea of, hey, everyone's going to be in town for this Grammy celebration. Let's get them to go to this studio and record. You had everybody from Michael Jackson to Kenny Rogers to Lionel Richie to, I can go on, Bruce Springsteen in this room recording this song called We Are the World, which was a charity song for Africa, if I am not mistaken. But what do you remember about We Are the World? Was there big anticipation for it? How did you feel about the song? Talk to us about We Are the World.
It was cool, man. It was a good show of unity. This was the 80s, man. So everybody was different back then, dude. You had all the powerhouses there. You had Lionel Richie, Cyndi Lauper. Everybody was there. It was super cool because it just felt good. It was a feel good song. You had black folks, white folks. Everybody was there. Everybody was trying to show off. And it was something that I think it was only time it was even tried to be duplicated was when they did the same gang thing in LA. They did the same gang thing here. They did it in New York too. It just, that era allowed that kind of stuff. You had to get a lot of people's permission to be on that song. And it was all multi-label. That was a multi-label situation. You had a lot of powerful people say, hey man, I'm doing this. Forget about it. I don't want to hear no lawsuits. I ain't tripping on the publishing. I don't think nobody got paid. Nobody got no publishing. It was just all the money was going for a good cause. That was my understanding. Okay? So if that's the understanding, if he ain't getting paid, I ain't getting paid, we're going to have some fun. We already got money. We already paid. That's doing something for the people now. And it was a great political move.
Yeah, I love the song to this day and just everything about it. Let's we got about 7 more minutes. I want to talk about something specific, Lonzo. I remember the music my mom listened to when I was younger. A lot of the music she played shaped me and made me fall in love with music to this day. But what music artist do you remember your parents listening to as a youngster? And do you think it shaped you in any way?
Yeah, because nobody in my house listened to the same music. My mama was a big jazz fan. She was from Louisiana. My old man was from Mississippi. He loved the blues and country and western. My sister, who ran the house on Saturdays, my mom and dad worked. She was in the soul music. So my playlist right now. I told somebody the other day. I said, "You ride with my car, ain't no telling what you gonna hear." I was influenced heavily by the Jackson 5, but I also like James Brown. I learned to like Ray Charles. I learned to like Cannonball Adderley. I learned to like Lonnie Liston Smith. I was like, shit, come on, man. And it worked for me as a DJ because I'd been hearing this stuff all my life. And then when I was coming up on the radio, you heard everything. Black radio it was no such thing as black radio. It was radio. And you would hear white boy songs, Bobby Caldwell. We thought Bobby Caldwell was white forever. We didn't know he was black. We didn't know, I can't think of anybody offhand right now. With a few artists, they would play Dr. John, must have been the right place, could have been the wrong time. I'm coming up. That he was a white dude. But that was a part of our musical environment at the time. So if it was funky, black folks played it. And it flew up the charts like everything else did. We didn't know Dr. John wasn't black. We had no idea he wasn't black. We didn't care. So it just made for a whole different vibe, man. The era of which I came up in, there was only a handful of radio stations. People calling me, I'm trying to do a show, baby. I'll call you back. There I came up in, everybody was totally different. And it was only a handful of black radio stations, and they just played good music. Gino Vanelli. The Gino Vanelli. Sisters love Gino Vanelli. He's white, he's an Italian dude in tight ass pants. They loved him. I can't think of nobody else offhand right now because that's light, this red light is like that thing on Will Smith thing. That
The Matrix. Yeah.
It erases your brain cells. But yeah, it was a lot of black art, a lot of white artists got played on black stations, and we didn't think nothing about it, man.
Yeah, Dr. John was white as heck. I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah.
Straight up white dude.
Yeah. Who else? Bobby Caldwell was white for damn sure. Average white man, they pretty much told on themselves. Heat Wave, same thing. They were predominantly white. We didn't care. They were some bad white boys. It is what it is, Doc. It is what it was.
Well, we have a few minutes left, Lonzo. What's coming up, man? So you just got the Cerritos, the big Cerritos show. You got any other shows planned? What's next on the horizon?
And I'm chilling out to my prostate cancer walk. I'm not doing nothing heavy until after September 20th. I'm working on my prostate cancer event right now. I spent the afternoon, if you see my Facebook page, I spent the afternoon with the social media photographer. I had quite a few folks in my house today just taking pictures and having me do social media posts. I'm gonna be the poster boy for prostate cancer for the Trans Memorial Hospital for their upcoming magazine, Pulse magazine. So that's one of the main things I'm really pushing for the next few months is the prostate cancer walk. I want to blow it up this year. And we moved into Compton College on September 20th. And we're looking for donations, we're looking for walkers, we're looking for people to be a part of this because there's too many brothers are dying from prostate cancer and they don't have to. You can see my shirt. You can't see my shirt right now. It's a shirt with a finger through it. And it's all about don't be afraid of prostate cancer, dude. Just fear the finger. This finger right here. This finger right here is probably one of the most deadliest digits on your body. It's your trigger finger. In some places, this finger right here is the last decision somebody makes before they're taking somebody's life, whether it's on the field of battle or on the streets. But also, this finger right here is the one the doctor got to do a little jab, do a little checking. And people have made so many negative comments. Oh man, he didn't kiss me. It's a big old joke. But they put fear into people, and men will not feel comfortable with that simple procedure that can check your prostate. Your prostate is right by your rectum, and the doctor can feel and see if you feel a lump or not. He ain't trying to get you open for nothing else, man. He wants to see if you feel a lump or not, dude. And if they feel a lump, you need to go check. You need to go get it checked out from there. But there's all other ways to check it now. And that's what I'm promoting right now, because this figure has been so clowned. It's been all making. Dude thought I was gay. I had a prostate exam. Huh? Because I had a man, I knew you was like that, Lonzo. No, dude. Anyway, PSA, folks. Prostate specific antigen. They draw some blood out your arm and they run it through the process, and it'll tell you if you have potential for prostate cancer or not. The figure, all it does is feel if you have any lumps on your prostate. You don't want to wait until you have symptoms on the prostate. Okay, I mean, when you know if you got prostate, what's the symptoms? Your ass. When you got symptoms, your ass is time. You finna die. Simple as that. You got symptoms. You start bleeding out your rectum, pissing blood, your organs get infected, you're pretty much done, dude. I don't mean to scare you, but I'm keeping it 100. So you want to catch it early, stage 1, stage 2, even stage 3 is treatable, man. But you don't want to get to stage 4 because now it's moved to your organs and now it's affecting your kidneys, your bladder. Dude, it ain't nothing nice, man. So please don't be afraid of the finger. Don't fear the finger. We got to go, man.
Yep. Hit him with that outro, Lonzo.
For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer until he got cold on the eve after dark, 50-yard line to the Super Bowl. In the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that Hollywood bullshit because it was all cap. My story goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A. stands for not without Alonzo. Peace, y'all.